The rich keep getting richer, while the poor keep getting poorer? Why does this happen? The answer has less to do with income and everything to do with how people think about money. Let me ask you something. You wake up every morning, you go to work, you give your time, your energy, your health, and at the end of the month, you have just enough to survive, maybe less. Meanwhile, somewhere across town, a man who already has millions made another million while he was sleeping. He didn't work harder than you. He didn't wake up earlier. He didn't sacrifice more. So what's going on? Is the system broken? Is it luck? Or is there something nobody ever taught you that the rich figured out a long time ago? Today, we're going to find out. Part 1. The system. Let's start with a hard truth. The financial system was not designed to make everyone rich. It was designed to reward people who already have money. Here's a simple example. If you have $1,000 in a savings account, the bank gives you maybe $10 a year in interest. That's 1%. But if a rich person puts $1 million in investments, they might make $100,000 a year. That's the same percentage, but a completely different reality. The more money you have, the more money makes money for you. Economists call this compound growth. But in real life, it means this. The rich don't need to work to get richer. Their money works for them. The poor and middle class, they trade time for money. And time, unlike money, never comes back, but it goes deeper than just math. There's something called the poverty trap, and it's one of the most cruel mechanisms in modern society. Here's how it works. When you're poor, every emergency is a disaster. Your car breaks down. You can't get to work. Your child gets sick. You miss shifts. You can't pay rent. You lose your home. And because you have no savings, you borrow money at very high interest rates because poor people can't get good loans. So now you owe more than you make, and you work harder just to pay off debt, not to build anything, just to survive. Meanwhile, a wealthy person faces the same car breakdown. They pay cash, move on, don't even think about it. The same problem that destroys a poor person's month is an inconvenience for a rich person's afternoon. That's the trap. And once you're in it, it's incredibly hard to escape. Here's something that should make you angry. You spent 12 to 16 years in school. You learned history, geography, literature, mathematics. But did anyone ever teach you how money actually works? How to invest? How to build wealth? How compound interest can either make you rich or keep you poor? No. And that's not an accident. The education system was built during the Industrial Revolution to create workers, not owners. To produce employees, not entrepreneurs. It taught you to follow instructions, to show up on time, to obey authority, to work for someone else's dream. Nobody taught you that your labor makes other people rich. Nobody taught you the difference between an asset and a liability. Nobody taught you that a house can be a trap, not just a dream. The rich teach their children these things at the dinner table. The rest of us have to figure it out alone, usually too late. Now let's talk about something even deeper. Our relationship with money is mostly emotional, not logical. Studies show that people who grew up poor often develop what psychologists call a scarcity mindset. It means your brain is constantly focused on what you don't have. You make short-term decisions because survival feels urgent. You avoid risks, even good ones, because failure feels catastrophic. A person with a scarcity mindset will say, I can't afford to invest. What if I lose it? A person with an abundance mindset will say, what's the cost of not investing for the next 10 years? Same situation, completely different thinking. And here's what's heartbreaking. The scarcity mindset is not a character flaw. It's a survival response. When you grow up without enough, your brain literally rewires itself to protect you from loss. But that same protection mechanism blocks you from building wealth. The rich don't just have more money. They have a different relationship with money. And that relationship was taught, not inherited. So let's put this all together. The rich invest early. Their money compounds. The poor spend on survival. Nothing is left to grow. The rich get better loans at lower rates. The poor pay higher interest on everything. The rich own assets, stocks, businesses, real estate. The poor own liabilities, cars on credit, phones on installment. The rich teach their children financial literacy. The poor teach their children to work hard and hope for the best. And every year, the gap gets wider. Not because poor people are lazy, not because rich people are smarter, but because the rules of the game favor those who already have chips on the table. In 2023, the world's richest 1% owned more wealth than the bottom 95% combined. Not 50%, not 70%, 95%. That number isn't going down. It's going up every single year now. Here's where the story gets interesting. For most of human history, wealth was tied to physical things: land, factories, oil wells. You needed capital to make capital. But the internet changed something fundamental. For the first time in history, a person with a phone and a Wi-Fi connection can reach millions of people, can build a brand, can sell a product, can create something from nothing. Your father needed a factory to compete with big companies. You need a laptop. Your grandfather needed land to build wealth. You need knowledge and consistency. The barrier to entry for the first time ever is almost zero. This doesn't mean it's easy, but it means the game has new rules. And the new rules, for once, don't automatically favor the rich. In part 2, we're going to talk about exactly how to use those new rules. How real people with no connections, no inheritance, no privilege, are building wealth online in ways that were impossible 20 years ago. But before we get there, I want you to think about something. The system is not fair. That's real. The gap is growing. That's real. The poverty trap exists. That's real. But here's what's also real. The rules are changing. And the people who understand the new rules are building lives their parents never thought possible. You can be one of them. That's what part 2 is about. If this video made you think, hit the like button. It genuinely helps more people find this content. Subscribe so you don't miss part 2. See you there.